Why does change feel so uncomfortable? It's inevitable that we're going to see change happening. In today's day and age, convenience has been crowned king, and I think we're forgetting something vital. Are we losing the ability to adapt intuitively? I want to show you in this video why embracing disruption and discomfort is the key to psychological resilience. So, the reason why I think that people are resistant to change is because it's unfamiliar. Even though it is novel, people resist discomfort in general. And you have to understand, in the modern mechanical world that we live in, people have been conditioned to be very comfortable and to have everything convenient. Pretty soon they won't even have to walk to the refrigerator to get something to eat. You've seen the movie WALL-E. But I just want to make this point before I get into it, because we don't have to hunt for food. We don't have to wash our clothes by hand. We don't have to do anything that our great ancestors had to do to survive and thrive. Everything's built for convenience in these days. So just imagine if everything changed right now and we were blasted back into the Stone Age and we had to do all that stuff again. We'd be forced to wash our clothes by hand, make our own soap, hunt for food, tend to crops every single day, fighting off predators. I mean, it kind of seems like it might be fun in a way, but just as a thought experiment, imagine being in a time like that. Think about it. When was the last time you really had to struggle for any basic necessity? And there is a lot of people talking about the power grid going down and the supply chains being disrupted, which can honestly be just all fear-mongering to some degree or another. But, it makes you think, how would you actually handle it if tomorrow you had to hunt for your food and tend to crops and build shelter to survive? That would be a drastic change. Now, back to the present moment. Sure, we live in a world of comfort. But if growth only happens outside of that comfort zone, then if we were thrown back into the Stone Age, that discomfort would force us to adapt. It would force us to evolve and thrive. Just like the challenges you're facing right now. I mean, we don't have to fend off predators and stuff like that, but the challenges of modern life, whether you're going through some struggle, you maybe lost a family member, you're going through a breakup, you've got a job loss, something that's changed your life dramatically. You might have a new living situation that you have to get used to. All these things demand the same kind of resilience that you would have needed back in the Stone Age. But the only difference now is that you can choose to embrace these changes with the right mindset. It's something that you can choose to do. So whatever change that you're going through in life, if you're facing any kind of uncertainty, I mean, there could be a change where you may be exiting a romantic relationship. Maybe you're going through a financial change, a drastic change. Maybe you're going through some geographical change. Just realize your DNA is actually wired for this change. You were built for this. So in a minute, what I want to do is show you 4 strategies that will shift you into a more powerful position, so you not only will welcome the change, any kind of change, but also you'll want to seek out more changes to elevate you. And the first thing that I want to start with is becoming a novelty seeker. Dude, change is a wonderful thing. I love change. Staying the same is dull. It's monotonous. I mean, you got to think about it. When was the last time you were excited by something? You know that feeling you get when you visit a new city? Or maybe when you start a new hobby? Maybe you're starting a business venture? Or it could be something as small as rearranging your living space. All of that stuff, what it does is that your brain thrives on the novelty, right? So when you do something and you're in a new environment, your brain is going to kick in. And you got to think about it. I mean, some of this might be like a personality thing, because novelty stimulates the right side of the brain. But we all have to keep things interesting in life. Personally, I'm a novelty seeker. I got to change things up every few months. Every year. I got to do something new all the time. It's like the cycles in life. I feel like things constantly move in a cyclical manner. The seasons change throughout the year. There's grand solar minimums and maximums that take over 100 years to cycle. The human life has its own cycles as well. You got to know how to ride the waves of nature, man. That's the way things go with me. It's just a much better way to live. The human spirit thrives off the rhythms of nature. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again, do you? So why am I saying this? Because a lot of the times what happens with change is we get used to something. We might get used to a certain person. We might get used to a certain job or living in a certain place. And then there comes a time where change is thrusted upon us, where we have to change, not by choice, but by circumstance. And sometimes it's an emotional disruption to the point where it'll cause a lot of angst and discomfort. But in my opinion, check this out. In my opinion, change is one of the best things that you can go through, whether it's wanted or unwanted. Whether you're letting go of something or going through an adjustment, or just stepping outside of your comfort zone or thinking outside the box. The human brain thrives off novel situations. You know that rush you get when you're experiencing new things, like stepping into an unfamiliar city, perhaps, or driving, while you're in the city, you're driving down the expressways and the boulevards. You're in explore mode. Or it could be something, it could be something as simple as just trying something completely outside of your comfort zone. And when you do it, you actually feel a rush of excitement. That's dopamine, epinephrine, serotonin. These are powerful chemicals that your body produces. You don't need anything external. I get a huge rush from exploring new places. Just thinking about visiting a part of the world that I'd never been to, it kind of throws a battery in my back. It's an inspiration. So live life to the fullest and love it. I believe there's a nomadic spirit within all of us. How else could we have migrated all over the planet? Not by sitting in a dark room all day. We're built to explore, and we want to adapt and seek out new experiences. So that's why change, even when it's uncomfortable, is ultimately going to be a gift. It keeps the spirit alive and buzzing with life force energy. You got to be a hyper-inclined novelty seeker. Go to different states and different cities. If you don't like cities, go to another country and live there. Find the joy in going to a new city or country, living there for a few months, and then packing your stuff up and going to a completely new city. Listen to new music. Buy new clothing and love the way it feels. Appreciate the feeling of new socks and new underwear. Try different cuisines and meet new people. Be a novelty seeker. Don't be stuck in your ways. Change your perspective. Learn some new information. Notice how bored you get when you're not finding new things. Because novelty is what keeps you getting to the next level. Fuck stagnation. Have a growth mindset. Instead of a fixed mindset, have that growth mindset. Being a little bit of a thrill seeker and stepping outside the comfort zone heightens self-esteem. Go skydiving. Go surfing. Rock climbing. Try martial arts. Expand your consciousness and broaden your perspective through experiences. Do something out of the box and doing things that are out of the box or a little bit extreme is the way to go. Especially when you're going through a tough time. Deliberately do things that make you uncomfortable. And if any kind of change is thrusted upon you, not by choice, it's a good idea to switch things up during the change, to stimulate creativity. Start cooking up some new ideas. I truly and utterly believe in this with all my heart. Live life. Get out there and live your life. Create some more memories. Doing the same thing constantly is stagnation. There's a time for repetition, right? But that time is not now. So that's the first thing. Be a novelty seeker. Number two, and I touched upon this in the benefits of being a novelty seeker, which is the growth mindset. No matter how hard the change may feel right now, what it's doing is strengthening you to become stronger for whatever life wants to throw at you next. Because life has a funny way of just winging stuff at us unexpectedly. I don't know if you noticed that. But if you've been on this planet for some time, you can see that life likes to do that. Handling unexpected twists and turns and being adaptable to change is a strength. A protection, if you will, against randomness. Meanwhile, you have hundreds of millions of people going through drastic changes right now at this very moment. And out of all those people, a large percentage of them will become stronger because of it. All throughout history, it's been like this. It's nothing new. So we were designed for change. You can probably see the genetic trait of change encoded in the double helix of our DNA. That's how deep it is. But it's not the smartest and it's not the strongest who survive. It's the most adaptable. They call that natural selection. So knowing this, you have every reason to not only face the change, but actually run right towards the change. Because that's where the real growth happens. This should be enough of a motive right there to embrace the change. You might be resisting change because it's uncomfortable, but on the other side of the discomfort is everything you've been looking for that you didn't actually even know you wanted. It's not just growth, it's not just excitement and new possibilities, but it's much more than that. Every single change that you face that is tough is an opportunity to evolve into a stronger version of yourself. And that version of yourself, you might not be able to even fathom until you step into the unknown. And that's what makes the change necessary for your evolution. It's a beautiful thing. What I want you to understand is everything is in a constant state of flux. So being resilient to life's fluctuations, we can embrace these changes with the growth mentality. And if you do have any kind of limiting beliefs, shatter them all right away. You have to shatter them completely. And this is where resilience comes into play. So if you don't want to build resilience and get to the next level in life and overachieve, then I don't know what you're doing watching this video. And actually, I would prefer if you don't even subscribe to this channel because it's not for you, respectfully. But if you're one of those who are ready to stay grounded and push yourself, embrace the challenges, while I do the same, by the way, so that we can evolve into the best versions of ourselves, then stick around. Welcome to this beautiful journey. I appreciate you being here. Because we're killing complacency and pursuing personal growth over here. Steel sharpens steel, and we keep each other strong. Every single change, no matter how tough, is a lesson in resilience, right? And the more we face that discomfort head on, without distorting it, the stronger and more adaptable we're going to become. So, number 3, the concept, it's called begin with the end in mind. It's from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it really stuck with me because after reading that, one of the things that I like to do is think about my death. I like to ask myself, if I were to die today, would I have lived my life to the fullest? Would I have treated people right? Did I leave this place better than I found it? Would I have made the best possible impact that I could have today if I were to retire tonight and go back to the essence. Now, thinking about death isn't something to be scared of. It's about awareness. It's creating a mindset shift that sharpens your focus on what really matters. It's nothing to fear. Legacy is actually a powerful thing to think about. It gives you a sense of urgency to reflect on what you want to be remembered for. Think about what you want them to say about you when you're gone. How would you like them to remember you? You know, there's some people who live life as if they don't care what people think. They don't care if people think, it's like, well, the world's a better place that they're gone. There's people that live life like that. Some people act like they won't care if anyone doesn't care when they die. Outside of a few codependent relationships. But for me, maybe it's selfish, but I want as many people to care as possible. I don't want them to be sad. I just want to be remembered in a specific way. There's certain characteristics that I want to be known for, certain qualities that I embody naturally that I want to accentuate. I'd like to be known as someone who is creative, a good communicator, charismatic, a good work ethic. I want to be known as somebody inspirational. So, how do you want to be remembered? Asking yourself questions like this gives you a perspective shift toward a higher dimension. Now, speaking of self-awareness, that brings me to a key principle in navigating life's ups and downs, and it's called the force of forward motion. And I first heard of this concept in the book called The Tools, but it's all about momentum. You got to remember, an object in motion stays in motion, and an object at rest tends to stay at rest. And if you stay in that resting state too long, it won't be long before you're resting in peace. You dig what I'm saying? That's why it's good to get up, get out, and get moving. Every day. Get up and go for a walk. Go for a jog. Get your heart rate up. Increase your vibration. Get some fresh oxygen in your lungs. Put pen to paper and start writing. Start creating something. A lot of what I'm talking about, folks, is just staying busy. Moving and shaking. Making things happen. When you're in that type of momentum, the difficult or uncomfortable changes that you're going through right now, they don't seem so bad. It's not as uncomfortable if you're used to being in momentum. In comparison, it's a simple thing. Now, it is easy to get stuck when things don't go as planned, and the stress and resistance can pile up. But that's when the force of forward motion becomes your greatest ally. In fact, staying active and staying flexible will stimulate the brain to create better solutions. It's the best way to overcome any discomfort that comes with the change. Once you get into that flow, you start seeing things differently. Problems don't feel like barriers anymore. Instead, they feel like opportunities to tap into your creativity. Opportunities to develop not just coping strategies, but to develop thriving strategies as well. And every time you solve a problem, you're building emotional intelligence, which is going to help you manage stress and stay grounded. And this is where creativity basically solves everything, because every problem that you have can be solved by your creativity. The change that you're going through is put there for your evolution. And it's that higher vibration that wants you to evolve. Because when your spirit is healthy, it has the confidence to meet the future. And it has a positive view of the future. It constantly works toward creating that future. But it does require open-mindedness for new ways and new ideas to solve life's problems. It's all about the new. And this is also going to keep you connected to the collective and vibing easier with other people. So keep moving forward by embracing your authenticity and having confidence. Move forward with an optimistic view to spot all the potential possibilities that are on the horizon. And of course, not all change is going to feel good, but when it comes, when you come from a place of acceptance, the heart is more coherent with the world. And it's much easier to be the change that you want to see, because you're seeing with more than just your eyes. So embracing changes, it's not just about moving forward blindly. It's about having acceptance with confidence and assurance in the law of abundance. And because not all change feels good initially in the beginning, you expand your consciousness with that same resilience. But when you have that rose that grows through the concrete type of mentality, you can navigate this plane of existence with grace. You're dancing through life. And you can turn any problem into an opportunity. The personal development is just basically a side effect. It's a byproduct, if you will. The world needs you to create the changes that excite you so that you can share your best self. But it ultimately is up to you. So, make the decision today to embrace all the changes that come into your life so that you can create the most magnificent change of all. So just understand this. Change is inevitable. And once again, whatever you're going through, no matter how painful, no matter how severe the turmoil, no matter how overwhelming, never allow yourself to sabotage by making excuses. You know what's coming. I think you guys know what's coming. And if you know what's coming, you know where you're headed. You have a better perception of what's to come in the future. But like I talked about in my last video, you're going to be better prepared when you know that future. So if you haven't seen the video, I will link it on the screen here for you to check out. Till the next time, we'll see you again. Get to the next level. Peace. We out of here.